How can Friedrich Merz promote the alternative for Germany during the Christian Democratic Union press conference? Guys, no joke, listen to this. And Franziska Brandner, she just told you very clearly, we can't take legal action against this government. Now the citizens are supposed to do that. She could theoretically do it with her own money, but of course she doesn't want to, because she doesn't have a majority. And accordingly, they will simply let this government get away with their crimes. Nobody cares. They're spitting right in people's faces today, right after the elections. And in the end, there will be no reforms, and well, the killing on our streets will continue, just as we've seen in the news today.
A party that is united, cohesive, and determined.
And didn't believe all the lies. How was the secret meeting with Lars Klingbeil? I said right away on this channel, that's absolute nonsense what he said there. They never agreed on anything, which he later admitted as well. And even today, he will sit down with Lars Klingbeil and Bärbel Bas to work out these reforms. No, he said that now too he will wait for the commission first, and nothing is really happening there. I just wonder how all the Christian Democratic Union voters feel today who believed the election lies from the day before yesterday. Yeah, really, today he brushed everything from the day before yesterday off the table. He said, look, it can't go on like this, but we're just going to continue as before. So, absolutely ruin this country. If I may ask you for just one thing, YouTube doesn't like me showing you this content. So the truth about the political spectrum, and if you could leave me a like and a subscription, you would help me tremendously to get this channel back on track. So that for the next elections we can reach many, many more people who don't blindly believe the lies of Friedrich Merz.
It also gives us momentum for the reform projects that we have on the agenda in Berlin. Nevertheless, the data shows that the citizens in our country are uncertain, especially in light of the international situation.
Well, wait a second. By the way, the citizens are most afraid that the economy will be ruined. May I just quickly, I won't show you everything, that would really be way too much. He also said later that we really need to wait for the commissions first. That's what I already told you in the video this afternoon. They will now take a clear stance that they will continue exactly as before and won't change anything. Nothing will happen. Nothing will be done faster. It was all just another absolutely brutal campaign lie from him. The people in Rhineland-Palatinate have to see that very clearly this morning, now that they're back in reality. And yes, let's take a look at the election polls next week.
I want to tell the citizens in Germany that we are taking this election result as an incentive. I want us to make progress with the coalition with the Social Democratic Party.
Yes, that's right, exactly. First it was the Social Democratic Party's turn, and then the Christian Democratic Union under Friedrich Merz. But the Social Democratic Party said something completely different. They made it very clear that they want to pursue much more left-wing policies. But listen to him for a moment now and then tell me what you noticed. Isn't that comrade speak that he just pulled out of his, I was about to say out of the gutter, no, out of his pocket?
Above all, make policies for the working population, for employees.
Mr. Merz, migrant social welfare recipients are not employees. By the way, one of them, I'll say, acted violently again today, yes, and once again took his wife aside. But nobody seems to care about that. Nothing was said about maybe wanting to provide some security here. No, just for the people here who work, who don't work, or employees. Und Arbeitnehmerinnen. And in the end, absolutely nothing will happen. He said exactly that in his press conference. So that's it for the old Merz. Let's move on to Brandner. And in my opinion, she really outdid herself today. I have to say again, my goodness. Who actually votes for the Greens?
Federal Baden-Württemberg, Rhineland-Palatinate, Bavaria and Hesse elections show you can't push us Greens from the center. Thank you.
I thought they were on the left and not in the center, but okay. Wanna know what's going to make me laugh all day today? Do you know what happens at Oktoberfest? There, Söder has to stand next to the guy who actually calls himself that, Bürgermeister. And then he'll say to him, oh, tap it. I'm already looking forward to seeing that look on Söder's face, who then has to be told by such a youngster, by such a green youngster, whom he himself will declare as an enemy, who then has to be told like this, tap it like this. Not anymore. That's good. That's making history. Next year, do you know that? This year, do you actually know that?
What's the current status there? Will you file a lawsuit?
Yes, well, the embezzlement in the budget has really caused quite a stir. The Greens have threatened to file a lawsuit and have now made the following statement very clear again because, and hold on tight, yes, because actually this government needs to be stopped for embezzling the citizens' tax money. And now, are you curious? I'm curious about the Greens' response. Now that the elections are over,
Unfortunately, even with the left, we lack the 1/4 needed in the Bundestag to file a lawsuit ourselves. That's why ordinary citizens can also file a lawsuit as external parties.
Ms. Brandner, why don't you do that with your own money? So, why don't you just go as an ordinary citizen and sue this government? You earn far more than the average citizens out there. But to take it out on the citizens now is actually a huge disgrace. And all of this, yes, and all of this, just how much is it 18 hours after the election? I don't know. Yeah, so all the people who followed the political chaos last week must be thinking this morning, man, that they can't even keep their election promises, which they just made for even 14 days. But that they break them right the day after the election. That's really astonishing. And you seriously wonder why more and more people are voting for the Alternative for Germany, why more young people are voting for the Alternative for Germany. I'll explain why older people don't feel like it anymore. I just said it up front, we don't feel like dealing with this political bullshit anymore. We don't feel like being lied to anymore, we're being lied to from start to finish. Yeah, and then there's all this nepotism. Yeah, what's going on with Bosbach, Caroline, and her father? That's not nepotism. Yeah, she didn't hire him beforehand. There were much bigger cases of corruption involved. There was embezzlement, but that never went viral. Nobody cared. No, but with the Alternative for Germany, you have to make a huge fuss about it. And now nothing is left of it again. And the people, it's a hardcore group of voters that keeps growing from election to election. And you out there are probably thinking it's actually a shame that she didn't win this election. But one thing is certain. We are getting stronger with every election, with a very, very hardcore voter base. Yeah, so people aren't dropping off anymore. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the polls next week, to see how much further the politically established left fascist parties will lose. And yeah, in 167 days there will be elections, and I hope that people in Saxony-Anhalt don't forget so quickly like those in the West next year. There's North Rhine-Westphalia, there's Lower Saxony, and that's where things will get really interesting. I think now we can definitely aim for 20%, or don't you think so too?